Welcome back at one of the Bears Probably Plays YouTube channel. Today's Friday, October 25th. And I've got a couple more games in the NBA for Friday night slate. We're going to be talking about the Indiana Pacers going up against the New York Knicks as the first play. And then we're going to take a look at the Milwaukee Bucks going up against the Chicago Bulls. Two total game picks, two total player props before those picks. Let's take a look at the Thursday night picks. I am recording early, so none of the games have started yet. But we have the Celtics minus 13.5 against the Wizards. Someone said don't take the Celtics in the chat. Maybe they think that they're coming off that huge win against the Knicks. That they're going to come out sloppy against the Wizards. But even if they come out sloppy, I mean, the Wizards are horrible. So at least I think they're horrible. They were last season. So I still think the Celtics win that game pretty easily. Then we have the Nuggets, minus 2.5 against the Thunder. Just hoping for a really good game here. I think the Nuggets at home, that will find a way to win. You got Klay Thompson, over 3.5 made threes against the Spurs. And then Nikola Jokic, over 8.5 assists going up against that Thunder team. Here's an updated leaderboard for you guys. 4-0 so far in the game picks. Got the win last night with the Nets. They kind of, I thought they were going to blow up. But Cam Thomas, you want to talk about a guy who can make shots in the clutch moments. Cam Thomas is that guy. He was horrible in the first half. Somehow, some way, I think he had 36 or 38 points. He could not miss in the last 3 minutes. So Nets did cover for the 4-0 games. 1-3 on the player props. Only got the one win with Cade Cunningham so far. So we got to do a little bit better with the player props. Game picks so far so good. But let's take a look at the games for Friday night. Pacers going up against the Knicks. The New York Knicks in the first game of the season, they had to go up against the Boston Celtics, and I don't know if there's a better team in the NBA this season than the Boston Celtics. That was a very tough game for them to start their season. This should be a better matchup for them, and it's going to be a rematch of that postseason series that we saw last year. The Pacers, they were able to win that series because the Knicks, they had a lot of injuries, including Jalen Brunson, and the Pacers at the time, they were one of the best scoring teams in the NBA. So I'm not taking away anything from that series for the Pacers win because the Knicks were banged up. That was a pretty good Pacers team, but I think the Knicks, coming off of a loss, getting an extra day of rest with Coach Tibbs as your head coach, they're going to come out in this game with a lot of intensity. I don't know the stats for this, but it feels like the Knicks last season, off a loss, they were one of the best teams in the NBA, getting a bounce-back win. That's one guy, Coach Tibbs, that you don't want to disappoint. There are many players in the NBA that say they hated being on that team whenever he was the coach, but there's a lot of people that like that. He doesn't take practice lightly. Some players like that. Some players hate that, but for the Knicks, this is going to be a very well-conditioned team coming into this game after that performance against the Celtics. The Pacers in the first game against the Pistons, they did cover the spread, but the Pistons, they were very frisky in that game. Had a chance late in the third quarter, failed to do anything in the fourth quarter. But right now, this is not the same Pacers team that we saw in the playoffs. On paper, I think the Knicks are the way better team. I would like to see them put up a little bit more effort. I know it wasn't entirely their fault. Matchup against the Celtics, starters didn't play the fourth quarter. We should see the starters play the entire game in this one, Brunson and Towns included. I'll take the Knicks here, minus 4.5 as the first play. And for the second play today, we're going to take a look at the Bulls. On the road, going up against the Bucks. The Bulls have a lot of problems this season, and it was nice to see Lonzo Ball back out there on the floor. He came off the bench going up against the Pelicans, but this team goes on some serious droughts. We saw that coming out of the second half. They were tied. I think they were up by a bucket against the Pelicans coming right out of the halftime. And then right out of half, they found themselves down by double-digit points. They were never able to get themselves back in that game going up against the Pels. Josh Giddey, he had himself a decent game, I guess, for his first game. They didn't play him a ton. They went with the hot hand Lonzo Ball coming off the bench, who got them back in the game a couple of times. But an overall grade, I'd say, for the Bulls without DeMar DeRozan for the first game, I'd give them a solid C. I don't think it's going to be a very competitive team this season. I think the Bucks might be the only team up there right now that can give the Celtics a run for their money. I know that they have an undermanned team with the 76ers that they beat in the first game, but they manhandled them. Lillard, he looked really good in the opening day game. Giannis, he did his thing. I think the Bucks are going to hammer the Bulls in this one. Chicago, they lack some defense. Chicago, they go on these long scoring droughts. And the Milwaukee Bucks, like I said, I think they're one of the best teams in the NBA. I'll take them minus 9.5 here as the last game pick. Let's move on to some player props. And for the first player prop, we're going to be looking at the Knicks and the Pacers. Going right back to the well here, Jalen Brunson. He didn't have a really good first game because he didn't see the floor for over 25 minutes. But I really think he's going to bounce back in this game. This is going to be a little bit personal for the Knicks. They got bounced out of the playoffs last year against the Pacers. I'll take him here. Over 27.5 points, played up to over 28.5 points as the play for the game. Like I said in the first game for Jalen Brunson, he didn't play the fourth quarter. He only shot 14 times, but he did have 22 points off those 14 shots. I still believe this is one of, if not the best mid-range shooters in the NBA. He can get it to the hole. He can pull it from anywhere, and he does need to be a little bit more aggressive taking some three-point shots. I think sometimes he has open looks, and he passes that up. But if this guy's inside the three-point line with the ball in his hands, you can almost guarantee he's going to put up a mid-range shot. I think that the first game did show us a lot because he's going to be more aggressive this season. He was very aggressive last season. He's going to be just as aggressive this season. He has a high motor still from last year's team. Was not very impressed with the play of Karl-Anthony Towns. I think that's going to take a little bit of time for him to get used to the Knicks basketball way. But I do think Jalen Brunson is going to be just as good this season as he was last season. And the Pacers last year, the defense, they were horrible. They had the advantage of playing the Pistons, who didn't shoot very well. We did have Cade Cunningham in that game. He had 4 points in the first half. He didn't make a shot in the first half, but then he came out in the second half, had 20-plus points. He was very aggressive in that game, getting himself to the hole and taking mid-range shots. That's exactly what Jalen Brunson's going to do here. Good matchup here for Jalen Brunson. Give me the over total points as the play. And for the final play, looking at the 76ers going up against the Raptors, the numbers for Tyrese Maxey in game number 1 going up against the Bucks, they were not great. I don't think he would consider those good numbers. He shot 31 times. He only put up 25 points, only made 2 threes. I think he shot double-digit three-point attempts as well. But if you ask the 76ers fan, if you ask the organization, I think they'd say, we'd rather see Tyrese Maxey put up 30 shot attempts than anybody else with the 2 superstars down. It's not going to be a very easy game for the 76ers in this one either, because they're going to be without Paul George again, and they're going to be without Joel Embiid again, it looks like. That means they're going to see probably another 30-plus shot game from Tyrese Maxey, and this time he's probably going to get the job done. He's going to be getting a good matchup going up against the Raptors, who statistically have the second worst defense so far in the NBA because some of these teams haven't played yet. Those teams are playing on Thursday night, so by the time you guys are watching this, they'll probably be ranked 29th instead of 23rd in the NBA on total defense. The perimeter defense is bad for the Raptors, and they allow nearly 70 points in the paint in the first game going up against the Cavaliers, trees down low. Raptors in the first game gave up 130-plus points against the Cavs, so I do think Maxey has a chance to go for 30-plus points in this one. I'll take the over, 27.5 points. Play this one up to 29.5 points as the play there. Let's take a look at the recap graphic. We're going to go with the Knicks, minus 4.5 against the Pacers. Bucks, minus 9.5 going up against Chicago. We have Jalen Brunson over 27.5 points against the Pacers. And then Tyrese Maxey over 27.5 points going up against the Toronto Raptors. Guys, it's going to do it for the NBA Plays and Props for Friday, October 25th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.